Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people who hate reading. This week we're doing the movie Shawshank Redemption, made in 1994, and we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and the man who makes every woman shudder, Ryan Preston. Like we said, we're doing one of my all-time favorite movies. It's the Shawshank Redemption, made in 1994, and according to IMDb, who has apparently lately had the world's most shortest synopsis: two imprisoned men bond over a number of years, finding solace and eventual redemption through acts of common decency. That's the whole description. Doesn't really describe the movie all that much.
No, what movie were they watching?
I don't know, but that's what they say about the Shawshank Redemption. And who wants to go first? Because I'll go first if you two don't, because this is my pick.
I'll launch into it for a second. Dude, like you said, dude,
are you done?
This definitely ranks up one of the all-time favorite movies, you know what I mean, ever. For a number of reasons. There's movies I love because of repeat watchability. There's movies I love because they're great. There's movies I love because they're kind of artsy and they mean something or they have some substance to them. This one is sort of all of the above, you know, it's one of those movies that got all kinds of substance, all kinds of meaning, all kinds of, you know, like good character study, a great story, but you can watch this movie fucking over and over again without being tired. It's one of those movies that comes on cable and you get like halfway, you turn it on halfway through it and you just want to watch the rest of the movie. Like, oh, I guess this is what I'm going to do for an hour and a half now. And
it's the only Stephen King movie that I can do that with.
Right, absolutely.
Because I'm not going to sit there forever with, you know, the Tommyknockers or, you know, It or whatever else he wrote. It's like, it's on! Let's watch the rest of it!
Man, how dare you reference the Langoliers? That movie was so effing terrible. Look, and then the books are not
What about
bad.
Cat Eyes?
Okay, kind of
translate great to crappy graphics in the early 90s.
Okay,
but what about Cat People?
Okay, enough of the non sequiturs. what about your?
Okay, Morgan Freeman, I've often said I'll watch this guy read a dictionary. Because, I mean, just him saying words, it's like, oh, wow. You know?
Wow.
You know, like, oh, say another one, Morgan. And
Andy Kaufman did it first.
But
you've got to there.
Look, I love him narrating stuff, and so him just kind of being in this thing, I mean, it was one of the first things I think I saw him in that really like made me like fall in love with Morgan Freeman. It's damn, what can you say about this movie? It's like the perfect movie. It's like one of the most perfect movies ever made, you know? That shit. Yeah, go on, because I'm just gonna start rambling.
Okay, I'll
100 times, and it's one of those. I every time I watch it, I'm kind of paying attention to different things in it, you know. Okay,
I guess I'll go. This is one of the few movies that I actually like Tim Robbins in. I'm generally not a big fan of his movies, period. You know, The Hudsuckers Proxy was entertaining.
No,
besides that,
for kids.
Huh?
But, you know, for kids.
Yeah. Do you have your speakers up loud? I can hear myself.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was hearing him too. That's what I was kind of like, huh? All right, anyways.
So the other one is, I'm still surprised this is based off a Stephen King short story. The ones I've read previous, this is the first one I've read that is completely different than everything else he's written.
All right, well, yeah.
What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. I mean, it's one of the more real stories that he's ever written, as far as just, you know, about people in a relatively realistic situation. I think he's done maybe one or two other ones that I can't think
Misery
of.
and The Shining.
Oh yeah, The Shining. Well, I mean, The Shining did have the craziness. What was the first one you said?
Misery.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, another one that had some darkness to it, but this one was just, you know, like period set, and just set in a realistic dark place. I mean, it still had, you know, his sort of signature, you know, like people in terrible situations, but it was about as real as it ever got for him, I think.
Yeah.
And I love the choice of Clarence Brown and as Captain Hadley and Bob Gunton as Warden Norton. And that and Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins, I thought they chose an amazing bunch of people to do the characters. So much so that you can't imagine anybody else playing those characters ever, just because I think the way they portrayed those characters.
Right. Well, and it was done at a time, the 90s, like from the mid 90s to like the early 2000s, was a great time for making these kinds of movies, because it hadn't gotten into the digital age yet. It was still, everything was still shot on film. Everything was still kind of done with that kind of attention to detail, especially like the period pieces. It was the type of movie that they threw a lot of effort into without, you know, being able to screw everything up with digital effects and hoopla.
And if I remember correctly, this was filmed in an Ohio State Penitentiary.
Something like that.
That was like they shut down, but I guess it's a state museum type of thing. And the other reason is, I think unlike most movies today, I actually generally care about all the characters, all the individual, from Brooks, who ended up getting released and couldn't handle it, to the guards you really hated. Everybody in this movie you loved to hate or you loved.
Well, and what I think it did is it kind of brought you into the sort of bond that they got when they were in prison. You know what I mean? The institutionalized speech that they had with each other between Red and Tim Robbins. It was just, I mean,
that wasn't actually Tim Robbins. That was the other characters.
Andy was
right. The
other part of the group.
Yeah, but you get to so as you love them. You know what I mean? That was the end of that. I mean, and just you really loved it too. You loved the characters and the camaraderie between everybody else.
And I love, my favorite part, probably the whole movie, is you have Andy Dufresne played by Tim Robbins. How he starts off as this innocent, nice, never done anything wrong, and he gets in prison and he's the biggest crook in prison.
Right. Well, like he even said, I mean, I on the outside I was straight. You know what I mean? I had to come to prison to become a crook.
Yeah, which I thought that was funny. I mean, overall, I love the movie. It's probably one of my top 10. I love everything from the character choices, the writing, to the color palette. Probably in my top 10 movie, if we ever do a top 10 movie list. This is just, I love the movie. For me, it has amazing rewatchability.
Yeah, I agree with all that you guys said. You brought up a fact that, I mean, they discussed the institutionalized in there, and that's a major thing. A lot of people don't talk about that anymore, but I mean, Brooks was totally institutionalized.
Oh, hardcore.
Red was even talking about that he was becoming that.
Right.
And Andy was realizing that's kind of where he was heading, because he was making a life in there.
Right, yeah, you kind of see the change, the arc of his character being like, I don't want to end up like Brooks, basically.
Yeah, and that's something that, not a lot of prison movies discuss that. This one, I sometimes get it. This one, and there's another one besides The Green Mile that is another prison movie that all kind of like were really well done, really well put together, and I can't think of the name of it. Anyways,
X Wounds with DMX. Just throwing it out there.
Wow, really? Swing and a miss.
I did just see that look on your face.
Evil person.
So it's a really well done movie. Like you said, there's a lot of great acting in here. I do think it's interesting that there's different sections of Morgan Freeman's character where he goes before the parole board. And I find that interesting because it kind of is trying to also show the development of Morgan Freeman's character as well.
Right.
Because, I mean, he's before the parole board all acting, proper. And then right after that, they go to a scene where he's just walking through the yard, and it's very rare that you hear Morgan Freeman cuss. But he does it in such a classy manner that you don't really mind.
Yeah, just not from the time,
Yeah, so, I mean, he comes out and he starts cussing, and you just kind of realize, oh, okay, so he's not such a good guy.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, he does a speech. He's got a little...
It's a great speech.
Monologue that is very well put together. And I was actually kind of watching that. I'm like, I wonder how many inmates actually tried this exact same speech before a parole board just to see if it works, I mean, that's kind of... It's a very real speech. That's pretty much what he does, and that's why he gets let out, is because it's actually him talking.
He's not...
I could just see a parole board in real life just sitting there like, Wow, that's really. Wait a second, is that from Shawshank?
Oh, totally. I'm gonna have. I know a couple of sheriff's officers. I'm totally gonna have to ask them if they've ever had anybody do that.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to know if anybody's ever, memorized that and then said, when I get locked up, I'm doing this before my parole board.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it had to have happened in just the history of American penitentiaries. That had to have gone down.
Yeah. So, it's one of those speeches that's really well done, and you kind of, if you're thinking about along those lines, you kind of get there. The other thing is that there's so much character development in this movie that you kind of get lost in it.
Oh, totally.
Right, and mostly between Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins. I mean, when Morgan Freeman was on a certain path when he started out in the prison, he was lined up with the rest of them taking bets. You know what I mean? With the new fish coming in and shit like that. Once their characters started to really interact with each other, that's when you see both of their arcs kind of start to go in the same direction. Like being as much as they just taught each other, what like Morgan Freeman learned just as much from Tim Robbins as Tim Robbins did from Morgan Freeman as far as like there's more to life than this prison. You know what I mean?
The thing I always thought was interesting about the character development, if you watch it, it's the whole prison that revolves around Andy Dufresne. He's the one person. He changes the entire prison from his view of the outside world. That that his goal was, he's the only person, I guess, who had hope, because he said it in the movie. And Morgan Freeman said, no, you can't have hope. He said, yeah, you don't have a choice here. Yeah, it's going to eat you up. Yeah,
and even the warden, I can't think of the character's name.
It's Bob Gunton.
Thanks, Gunton. You see his character change from being, straight arrow, this is how it's going to be, there's discipline in here, to I got to get my own, get money, get set up. And he
basically saw the cash cow in Andy Dufresne.
Yeah, exactly.
It started out with the whole, work furlough program, like building the roads, stuff like that. And then that quickly stirred up his greed. And then you see the things with look, you're undercutting my guys. And then he's handing my wife baked you a pie. Look at all this cash in the front of the pie, that kind of stuff. And then you see the spark go off. And then with Andy Dufresne, here's this guy who was a banker on the outside, and now you have him just under your thumb. It was just too good to resist for him, and I mean, that was the beginning of the end for him.
I think the only thing I've ever wondered is, did Andy do it on purpose? Because he knew, does his end run knew that eventually this is what he was going to use to?
Well, I mean, look, dude, you have to assume that his entire plan was worked out from the second he really started chiseling out that wall.
You think so?
I don't think so. I think when he started to write his name into there, and that
well, he was by accident, but by the time he really starts getting in there, by the time the Raquel Welch picture comes in, I think that's when he really starts like hatching everything out, because he was always the smartest guy there.
Well, no, the thing about it is, and they tell you this too, is he's a chess player,
right?
So his first move was, I can make a hole. Now what do I need to move into this hole to get there? I need finances outside, but I also need a place. And that's where you see, if you pay attention to those little progressive things as he starts saying them in the movie, you can put all the pieces and all the moves that he makes. But his first move, he didn't really know, except for, I want to win. That's how you play chess. You play chess. I'm after the king.
Time in chess, dude, he was thinking 3 or 4 moves ahead. You know what I mean? He was always ahead of the game of everybody else. And I think obviously with the whole warden thing, once that routine sort of got established, that's when he probably hatched, his overall, master stroke.
Because I doubt the warden could keep in touch, can keep up with what he was doing.
Yeah, no way.
So he was able to be a step ahead, and probably make things look different or do things and set it up in a way that even the warden didn't have the whole plan. Maybe a piece of it, but didn't realize. He didn't have enough dots to connect to realize, oh crap, look what he can do.
No way.
Yeah.
because he was one-sided. He realized, I'm going to use this money for the future, and Andy Dufresne's like, yeah, this is mine, man. It's just temporarily in your hands.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
pretty much. Because I mean, that's one of the things that he kind of hinted at to the warden was, how far do you want to take this? And the warden just kind of jumped all over him, saying, because he wanted to get out legitimately.
Yeah, he wanted to be
free and clear, and that's when he said to the warden, I won't use any of this against you. I won't talk to you about it. And then he, got put in the hole for 2 months.
Yeah, don't be so obtuse.
And I think that's when Andy realized exactly how long he was going to be in that prison if he didn't do something else about it.
Yeah.
Which I gotta admit, just as a character study, how interesting would it be to know that you're the smartest person in the entire prison, behind bars and not behind bars?
Yeah.
That you could play the game better than anybody else if you wanted to?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a mistake, throwing him in, and letting him just run free. But I mean, he was just masterful the way he thought everything out. But I mean, that was with the whole hope. I mean, I think after the first his little stint in the hole, I think that might have sparked something as far as okay, that was easy, but then all of a sudden he's wrapped up in the life of just prison. It's like I gotta get the hell out.
I'm thinking that part of it, now that James mentioned the chess metaphor, I'm also thinking, like, if you noticed with the bookstore and ingratiating himself with the guards and all that, I'm thinking that he did it on purpose. Like, he did all this stuff to make everybody look like, oh, look, he's trying to make people better, trying to get this, trying to get that. And the whole end run was trying to get himself closer with the warden, closer to the items he needed.
Which is not to say that he didn't have a stake in trying to help out the inmates, obviously with the kid's name that I'm going to forget right now.
The rock and roll kid.
The rock and roll kid.
Yeah.
He had a real stake in that kid's future. I mean, he really gave a shit.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. But
with the music and whatnot, I mean, he got the Hank Williams records for the one guy. I mean, he did it, I think, with the end goal still in the back of his head. But also for noble purposes.
Well, no, yeah. Well, I'm not saying it was completely selfish. I guess it's saying that he knew it could be a betterment, but in the back of his mind, I bet he said, this is also a good thing because it ingratiates myself with people, gives me more room to play.
Yeah.
But
the warden.
It also kind of screwed him over because then the warden realizes, this guy is worth more to me inside for the rest of his life than he ever is going to be outside.
Yeah.
And then like I was saying to James, I mean, when he lost his shit on him in the office, that's when I think you realize, like, this guy's going to try to keep me here forever unless I get the hell out myself.
Well, I think part of it too was, I mean, because he had to have that hole going for a long time to get through.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing, is the fact that he wasn't, as soon as he got that rock hammer, decided to scratch his name in there, he's been working on that hole.
Like 20, 30 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, his thing about stepping up and getting them the beer, helping the warden, doing their taxes, doing the books, writing the letter to the Senate over and over and over again, trying to get funding. That's his whole thing of, like, look, I got a little shiny over here. Look at the shiny. Look at the shiny.
Right. Yeah. No,
smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was just dangling the carrot for him to bite on, so he gets him in his good graces, and yeah.
And they wouldn't toss his cell as much. They wouldn't do a lot of stuff that.
Yeah.
Like, I've always surprised. The one thing that surprised me is that big poster. I mean, you would think that, hey, he could hide a hole behind it.
Right.
The whole time, the first time I saw this movie, I'm like, yeah, there's a hole behind it. The end of the movie, hey, I was right. Shocking.
Yeah. So, anyways, I mean, all in all, I think this is one of those movies that is really top of the line for me. I don't think I can go 5 on it, though.
So what are you giving it?
I'll give it 4. Now, I do. Did you just call me a piece of shit?
I did call you a piece of shit. That was a piece of shit statement to say.
Shut up. So the reason why is the only reason why. I mean, the fact that I like there's certain parts of this movie that kind of just drone on for me at times.
I could see that.
Are you watching this, kids? This is somebody trying to back up his bullshit, just laying tracks in front of the train.
Well, considering it just went by your house, you sure you're not supposed to cover? You're not covering something up?
But I mean, the movie at times like slows down for me. There's not something in there that, I mean, the dialogue, the acting really do drive this movie. I don't know. I just am not a big fan of like prison movies. I mean, the continuous like chasing of what are they called? The sisters.
On the beginning of the movie.
I mean, I think if they actually got him to where, I mean, like he literally like beat the dude half to death, I would be a little bit more happy. But instead of like the guards doing it, that's kind of, like, I don't know.
I think that's a little more realistic for the time because they were trying to protect Andy. But what about you, Ryan?
I think you should have redemption on them.
Red Dead Redemption.
I don't think they did anything in this movie they didn't mean to do. Like, I mean, everything in this thing was for a fucking really good reason. You know what I mean? Even the slow parts and everything, I thought it was for a purpose. I would recommend this movie to absolutely anybody. I mean, there's a lot of movies that I would, be like, oh, you might like this, but you don't watch this. You watch something else. You watch these couple of movies. But this one, it's like, no, everybody in the world watch this movie, please.
You can skip Buffalo 66 and Rain and Super.
Oh,
but...
yeah, I mean, yeah, skip the indie bullshit. I mean, this is just everybody make a movie like this.
Oh, wow. You got him to recant.
Can't anything. I like me a good indie movie.
So what about, what's your rating?
It's not one of those things.
When are you going to put up a good indie movie?
But this one, I mean, this is a 5 with a bullet. I mean, like totally. It doesn't get any better for this as far as good storytelling and execution of a good story.
Well, for me, it doesn't go above and beyond, and that's what I consider a 5.
I hate to.
I mean, what do you want? A fucking car chase, dude? Like, what are you really expecting?
No, I don't want a bullet scene in there.
Well, here's my thing. I have to be honest. I as much as it pains me to say that, I give it a 4 out of 5. I love this movie. I doubt there's as many people who love this movie as much as I do, but a 5 to me is a completely different level movie. I mean, you have that the movie with Elijah Woods. Everything's illuminated to me. Like I said, we all gave it a 5. To me, a 5 is rare. I rarely give movies a 5, and I love this movie to death, but I just can't give it a 5 because I don't know. It's not up that place to me. I mean, I would. It's this close from a 5, but I just can't give it a 5.
Yeah, for some reason, I mean, this movie just doesn't blow me away. That's what I consider a 5. Is like when I watch this movie, I am just like. Utterly
James,
amazed
how many times have you seen
great.
This movie, dude? I mean, try to think
6.
back the first time you saw that movie.
You've only seen it 6.
Remember the little tear coming down your eye?
I've never.
I'm just guessing.
I've known James for dang near 15 years, and I've never seen him cry once. I'm not quite sure
what. A little tear?
I'm just saying. Look, dude. Like you've seen this movie.
I mean, did you get choked up when the sister got beat? Is that what it was? Oh, he's a cripple. He'll never walk again. Is that what it was?
No, wow. Wait, look, I mean, you've seen the movie 25 times.
No, I've only seen it about somewhere between 6 to 8 times. I'm not in double digits on that.
Okay, but
I've seen it every year for the last, since 94.
5 or 6 times more than you see most movies. You know what I mean? But I'm not, like, my point being is that you're watching it now, like, having seen it, knowing exactly what happens and everything. But the first time you watched that, I mean, that didn't strike you as above and beyond your average fucking movie?
No, I knew it was beyond the average movie of, like, the ones that I scale around 2 to 3.
Average. I'm saying, like, it didn't go above and beyond a good movie? Like,
oh, no.
All right.
See, I want to give it. I really want to give it a 5. I really do, but for me, I can't. It just the movie. A 5 for me is a special movie. And I love this movie to death. I just can't get it.
This is a special movie.
No, I think it's a great movie. Like I said, I mean, the acting is done impeccable. I mean, Morgan Freeman does a fantastic job. You see the growth. You see everything. But for me, it's not a movie that I think is a 5, because I mean, a 5 for me is a movie that I am like completely blown away by in the story from start to finish. And I mean, there's little jokes and humor and you get pulled in at certain points where there's like some type of fast-paced type of grab you. And there is stuff like that in there, but it's not enough to where it just blows me away, which is what I consider a 5.
But I do think on the better Even though
I don't know.
I think James and I both give it a 4. This is a movie that I'd say everybody needs to watch.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that one. I completely and utterly agree with you on that one. I mean, if you have not seen this movie, you need to.
I'm pretty sure we all agree, just not on the stars. That's the only thing we're sort of disagreeing on. But as far as, look, everybody watch this damn movie. One of the best movies. I mean, it could be argued for one of the best movies ever made. I mean, there could be an argument for it. Maybe not best ever made, but definitely a top 5.
Yeah, I was going to say
top 5 to top 30. It's in there. It has
50.
to be.
I'd say top 50.
So
50. Defy you to name fucking 49 movies better than that.
I know a couple that aren't in it.
Do you need me to put the list out for you again?
Where was Shawshank on your list?
Well, you see, I think we discussed this when we were just
49.6.
When we were talking about the list, is the list of the top 50 would be in no order.
No general order.
Yeah, I don't think there would be a general order. I think that in the top 10 there would be a general order.
I think it was just a process trying to come up with all of the good movies that we've ever seen.
So
yeah, I think we started that list.
We're gonna have to wrap up the movie review part and start getting into the movie reviews, the movie news.
I was gonna say we just did the movie reviews.
Yeah, sorry, the movie news. And so the probably one of the most heartbreaking thing ever, the Michael Bay remake of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is still a go.
Ah, Jesus.
And apparently the guy who originally started it, he's compared it to the Avengers.
Wait, what?
He says, yeah, oh God, Michael Bay, so this is quote unquote, Michael Bay has made some great movies, intense movies. What we're talking about being is inspired by movies like The Avengers for scope, roots, and origin.
So wait a minute, we're already throwing this asshole out because he said that Michael Bay's made good movies.
Yeah, I kind of agree. If you like, man, his movies aren't even comparable to 80s action movies, so I can't, yeah. And the other one is 20th Century Fox cancels the Independence Day 3D plans.
Thank God.
I loved ID4, but I don't want to see it in 3D.
I mean, okay, were they going to take the original and just like 3D it?
Yeah, that's the only way they're going to be able to do it. They'll probably upconvert it and 3D it. That's the only way I could do it. I see it.
You know, I don't dislike Independence Day 4, but there is no way I want to see it 3D.
I don't see the point. I love the movie. I even own it. But yeah, I agree.
I mean, even the president's speech was like, really? Like, I mean, over the top, like, what?
Oh, no, that wasn't over the top. I mean, that's up there with one of the better, like inspirational presidential speeches.
I know. That's what I'm
but
like.
It's a ripoff of another speech.
I
another
know.
speech. I mean, it's borrowed, copied, cut, and paste, and rewritten. I mean, I love the speech, though. It's one of my favorites.
I mean, but you're like listening to it and you're like, I mean, was this like Reagan?
It's no longer an American holiday.
It's like everybody's like, it's like all the great speeches and they just like kind of mix and mash. Like John just said, cut and paste, and they mash it all together, shoot it up.
Today will be our Independence Day.
And there you
go. You both have seen Live Free or Die Hard?
Yeah.
You remember the little cut up terrorist message that they put together with all the presidents?
Yeah,
one of my favorite.
One of the only good parts of that movie, but I love watching that.
Wait, there's more than.
Yes, and the other one is the new Man of Steel trailer is going to be playing with the Hobbit movie. The next Man of Steel, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Actually, seeing the trailer.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Hobbit.
Well, so am I. Well, but the trailer's playing with it. It was supposed to be a couple other ones, but that was
like
the one.
A minute and a half, 4-minute trailer? Why does it even freaking matter what movie it's playing with? I mean, like,
I to be honest, I don't know, but this is supposed to be the introduction of the DC Avengers type of thing.
it's
the
JLA.
Be
the first one that's going to tie in with JLA.
I know it is, but I mean, I'd be more interested in when they're going to do the Martian Manhunter trailer.
And here's the one that
They're never going to do that movie. Apparently, they're going to do Aquaman, though. They've already signed on for Flash.
Hey, look, I'm talking to fishes. I mean, seriously?
My superpower, watch this.
And the other one,
dolphin.
Now here's the one that surprised me, and I still don't quite get, but I want to see it. The Saw director is going to helm a MacGyver movie.
Yeah, I knew that. I did know that.
I want to see this just because I want to see the Saw meets MacGyver. Sounds very interesting.
Well,
so he's going to kill the guy laying down.
At least it's not Guyver.
Actually, a Saw Guyver, I would totally watch that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, that suit was so retarded.
But it's a live-action anime. Lay off.
Right.
It was so retarded.
That's like a live-action Mickey Mouse. It just doesn't translate well.
I mean, they could have done the same like outfits with Sailor Moon.
It's not as bad as Guyver 2.
Oh, geez.
Oh, thank Christ I haven't seen that.
Really?
No.
You skipped Guyver 2? Wow.
And
Was I not supposed to?
I mean, is this like you having, I have self-esteem, I will not watch that?
Yeah, it was something like that, actually.
But Guyver 2 is so bad, even Trauma went, dear God. And I like this one. And the other one was, this is not on my rundown, but it was the new Die Hard movie with his son.
Oh, I know.
I just saw the trailer for it at a Skyfall when I saw it. So it's his son apparently is goes to Russia and shenanigans happen, and apparently he has to save the day like no old fat cop from New York can.
Hey, come to Russia. We'll have a few laughs.
Yeah, have
you guys seen Looper yet?
No, not yet.
It was really funny watching Joseph Gordon-Levitt do his best Bruce Willis impersonation.
I'm gonna have to get that one. I've been wanting to watch that one.
My only thing is, here's the thing: it has to be R. If it's a PG-13 like the last one, I'm just not going to see it.
That's what really killed the last one. I mean, it was still kind of a fun type of action movie.
Yeah, but so was RoboCop 3, but it was in the theaters for 2 days.
Good point. Yeah, I mean, it's full of plot holes, but I mean, the PG-13 watered down version of Die Hard, it really took it off.
And the only reason why it was PG-13 is he cussed at the end. I mean, there's really, that's it.
Right.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah.
Like, really?
I'm hoping it's good, but at this point, I'm assuming that one of my favorite movies, because I love Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2 was okay, 3 sucked. So I'm assuming it's just going to be worse.
Don't say that about 3. You can't say that. You can't say 2 was okay and then 3 sucked. That's the other way around.
Yes, I just did. I can say it all I want.
It was okay, if not good.
Okay, it's comparable with 2.
Sam Jackson, dude. That come on, that drives that whole fucking movie.
Of course.
Back in New York, everybody wanted to see it in New York. Nothing good ever happens in L.A.
Wasn't that like right around the time that Escape from New York came out too?
I actually don't remember that. Probably.
No.
I think so, anyway. And then they did Escape from
LA, which was one of the worst movies ever put to film.
And ladies and gentlemen, next week is going to start of our very Tarantino Christmas, and it's James' pick for the first one leading up to the Django Unchained. So, James, what's the movie we're going to do next week?
I was going through them all, and, I called this one. I said I was going to do it a long time ago, so we're going to... I know Ryan's been looking forward to this one. Look at how excited
Please
he
don't
is.
be Jackie Brown.
Yep, it's Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown. That's you went through all of the movies and you picked Jackie Brown.
Hell no, I didn't. Jeez, really?
I was gonna say that's a fist fight material. Jackie Brown.
Inglourious Basterds.
Wait, repeat that again.
Inglourious Basterds.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
I'll watch that movie anytime.
Yeah, I'm like, geez.
Don't need to be in the mood for that one.
Oh, you actually kind of had me worried there for a second. It's like, no, screw it. I'm going to skip this next episode.
I know. I was waiting for Ryan just to, get pissed at me, but he knew I was kidding. I couldn't get him to believe it.
I honestly didn't. I mean, I'm thinking
really?
Maybe he's going for a B-side. I don't know.
You could see that the veins starting to pop out in his head. You could start going, crap, I've got to watch that movie.
No, that was yours. You had the veins popping out.
Bridget Fonda gets shot again.
Ryan's just seriously I thought you knew I was joking. I was trying to get you to give me a reaction. You're just kind of staring at me and
Is this because I said exit wounds?
Yes.
No, I don't know. But anyway.
So ladies and gentlemen, every movie this month is going to be Tarantino, is because celebrating a Django, and we're all here giant fans of Quentin Tarantino.
And we're going to break down his movies like champs.
And, also, when I was pulling up Quentin Tarantino's stuff, just glancing through it, because, I almost tossed out Dusk Till Dawn, too. Anyways, I was looking through, and next year, not next year, they had Kill Bill 3 with question marks on IMDb.
Yeah, I've also heard in theory there's going to be a live anime version.
But is this going to be
there's been rumors of 3 since 2 came out.
I know, but is this going to be the whole bloody affair? Is this going to be... Because, that's something we've been wanting for... since Kill Bill 1, I've been wanting the whole bloody affair.
I'll be honest, I'd see it in theaters. If they put an intermission in the middle of a 5-hour movie, I'd do it.
Sure.
Yeah. I love, and they could actually see him where it was supposed to be instead of having an action and a drama, just have it all mixed in one. I would totally see it.
Yeah.
You ever go online and look at the order and really go through the order of Pulp Fiction of where the scenes fit together in the timeline?
I haven't done that yet. No.
It is. I mean, it's because you kind of figure it out just from watching the movie a few times. But when you're looking at it, you're like, oh wow, that is a wildly different movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's like Memento played in order.
Yeah, which is freaking bizarre.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet.
But yeah, I always thought the whole thing was really cool because I mean, you're just watching the movie, and towards the end of it is when you start piecing together. Oh, that's right. He was going from there to there when that. Whoa.
Right.
I still love that. Whose bike is this? Zed. Who's Zed?
It's not a bike, it's a chopper, baby.
Yeah, it's a chopper, baby.
So, ladies and gentlemen...
Zed's dead.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave Shawshank Redemption a 4 out of 5. James gave it a 4 out of 5. And Ryan gave it the 5 out of 5. And for Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan Preston, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
This episode of Old Guy Tech TV is brought to you by Ward's Automotive, specializing in Banks Power and Pack Brake, servicing your car or truck and specializing in diesel engines. Over 30 years of service, located in Diamond Springs, California. Give them a call at 530-626-5588.